I'd like to present David Farmer. I was just speaking with him briefly and asked him, is there anything exciting about you that you would like me to share with the audience? And he says, I love to work. And I'm sure many of us here love to work as well. That's why we're here. So David is an amazing serial entrepreneur, and he's the CEO of Entice Inc., an amazing company that focuses on technology in the automotive digital marketing industry. So I'm excited to hear what David has to share with us this evening. So David, without further ado, come and take the stage here.
And by definition, entrepreneurship traditionally has been defined as the process of designing, launching, running a new business, which typically begins as a small business, such as a startup company, offering a product, process, service for sale or for hire. Entrepreneurship ranges in scale from a solopreneur to large-scale undertakings that involve a team which may create many jobs. Many entrepreneurial ventures may seek venture capital or angel funding in order to raise capital for building or expanding the business. Some entrepreneurs may attempt to bootstrap their startups rather than seeking external investors. One of the reasons to prefer to bootstrap is that obtaining equity financing requires the entrepreneur to provide shares to the investors. And if the startup becomes successful later on, these early equity financing deals could provide a windfall to the investors or to the entrepreneur. I've been asked to speak here today because in the last 5 years, I have bootstrapped a technology startup from an idea to a company that currently employs 13 people, has no debt, and that is profitable. I'm excited to share my story, and I hope that I can inspire at least one person to really go for it themselves and bootstrap their own venture, regardless of how old they are, how much money they have, or how much experience in business they have. To start off, I'd like to give you a little context, who I am and a little bit of my background. My name is David Farmer. I am the CEO and founder of Entice. Entice is a lead generation technology platform built specifically for car dealers. We currently have about 150 dealership clients across the country. We help them generate more traffic to their dealership website, convert that traffic to leads, and then assist them getting those customers into the dealership showrooms. In addition, Entice is a Google-certified digital agency specializing in search engine marketing, display, and video. I have over 30 years experience in the automotive industry, in direct automotive retail, about 20 years, and about 10 years in automotive digital marketing and technology. In addition to my automotive experience, I've been fascinated with entrepreneurship and technology my whole life. And because of this fascination, I recently read the book, The Innovators, how a group of inventors, hackers, geniuses, and geeks created the digital revolution by Walter Isaacson, who is also the author of the Steve Jobs biography. And if you're a technology geek like I am, I highly recommend reading both of these books. Now, the reason I bring this up, it has reminded me how lucky I have been to grow up in the times that I have. I've seen the creation of the personal computer, the creation and evolution of the internet, and the mobile revolution is all happening in my lifetime. For example, in 1977, I was a second grader in a small town in Minnesota playing Oregon Trail on a brand new Apple II that had just been released by a small company in Cupertino, California. Arguably the first successful personal computer. In addition to being a professional second grader, I took on my first entrepreneurial challenge, delivering the Grand Forks Herald. Now, a lot of people talk about hustle and entrepreneurship, and I can attest that delivering newspapers in the middle of winter in northern Minnesota at 7 years old takes hustle. By the early 1980s, I saw the creation of Windows and the Mac. And at age 11, my entrepreneurial journey continued to include washing cars at a Lincoln Mercury dealership that my dad operated for $5 a car, after school, on weekends, and during summer break. In 1990, Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web, the beginning of the internet as we know it. And at age 20, I was in a rock band trying to reverse engineer my bandmates and myself into becoming the next Bon Jovi. You can learn a lot about entrepreneurship from the music business, including product creation, marketing, selling, and what it really takes to hustle. Working a job for 40 hours a week, then another 40 hours a week rehearsing, traveling, gigging, needless to say, I learned a lot during those times. By the early 1990s, the first web browser was released and email was invented. And I purchased the latest Apple PowerBook, which still sits on my desk today. And at age 23, this was the same year that my father and I opened an independent used car dealership just over the bridge in Pinellas Park, Florida. By the late 1990s, I saw the creation of Google, pay-per-click advertising, banner advertising, and founding of companies like Dealer.com and AutoTrader. And by this time, I was working as a salesperson in one of the largest Toyota dealerships in the Southeast, which, in my opinion, is the best way to learn to hone your sales skills, which are so important when bootstrapping a company. In car sales, you kill what you eat, meaning that if you don't produce, you don't earn, just like being an entrepreneur. And as a salesperson, I was successful. I was always in the top number 2 or 3 spots out of a team of 50 people, and I was quickly promoted. My first dealership management position was to create and manage an early internet sales department, which we called a business development center. It was during this time that I came up with an idea for which I named ePencil, which is my first technology product. With no programming background, armed with only a passion for technology and an idea, I set out to learn how to program and create the first dealership desking technology of its type. That was in 1998, and since then, it has been used by thousands of dealerships, and now almost every technology provider in automotive has used this product to build their own version of ePencil. Being young and inexperienced, I ultimately entered into a marketing agreement that turned out to be much better for the company than it was for me. And although this first entree into technology development did not turn out to be my path to entrepreneurial success, I did learn some very valuable lessons. Over the following years, continuing in my automotive retail career, I had the opportunity to go on to run a few large-scale sales operations in some very successful dealerships. Some with more than 200 employees, generating over $1 million per month in gross profit, as well as a startup dealership as a new Open Point Toyota store. I started as the #1 employee, hiring and training a full staff, and I sold over 1,000 cars in the first 90 days. And so this is my first time speaking to a group of fellow entrepreneurs. And as I started to think about what I really wanted to say, is I wanted to share something that would provide real value, but be based on my own personal experience with technology and entrepreneurship. What I discovered in looking back is that I wanted to follow my passion. I love the car business, I love marketing, and I love technology. I have a passion for pioneering and creating processes and technology that helps people be more effective and successful. So, in June of 2008, right in the early days of the Great Recession, the dealership that I was working for was scrambling to stay in business, and as in part of that scrambling, I was terminated. And within just a few months, that dealership was forced to sell to another dealership group that was better funded and that could better handle the tough economic conditions. Determined never to be put in that position again, where I could lose a job, I decided at that time I was going to figure out a way to be self-reliant. Over the next 3 years, taking on some contract work as a sales trainer and helping a friend with some sales and marketing for his business, I came up with my next big idea for a technology product. And this time, I was driven to make sure that I was going to control the product and the company, regardless of what that meant for speed or for scale. I partnered with the friend that I was working with, and we started to bootstrap our new venture. By the end of the first year, we became self-sustaining and now are a debt-free, profitable, and growing company. Next year, it'll be 5 years since I started this company, and I wanted to share 5 things that I've learned bootstrapping a company from an idea to sustainability. Number 5, I love it when a plan comes together. Just because you build it doesn't mean that other people are going to see value in it. In the last 5 years in building our platform, we've attempted to add on many different features. In some cases, the new features were great. In some, not so great. Some of the features our clients saw value in, and others they did not. In the cases when the product did not work out as expected, we had to go back to the drawing board and decide to either reimagine, retool, or abandon. Sometimes these decisions are not very clear. When faced with these decisions, you need to look at your business objectively with fresh eyes and trust your instincts, and try not to focus on how much time, energy, or money you have invested. You need to be able to make the tough calls and pivot when needed. And on the other hand, when it works, you need to just sit back and say, I love it when a plan comes together. Number 4, there are a lot of moving parts. We offer sophisticated digital marketing technologies and services to our clients. And to get everything to work correctly, there is a lot of moving parts to make sure everything is working together. And sometimes somebody will forget to complete something, or somebody or something doesn't go as planned. This is bound to happen. We like to always remember that there are a lot of moving parts involved with what we do, and when things don't go as planned, it does give us the opportunity to go back and fix the process, see what we can do better next time versus focusing on the past. Number 3, this is why we have meetings. For us, we have 3 meetings per day. Some people think this is too much, but for us it works. We have one in the morning, one in the middle of the day, and one at the end of the day. No real structure for these meetings other than to see what everybody is working on and maybe discuss things that are topical. And we found that these meetings are where the good stuff happens. I think Stephen Covey put it best in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit number 6, synergize. To put it simply, synergy means 2 heads are better than 1. Synergize is the habit of creative cooperation. Talking through challenges can uncover inspirations for ways to make your business better in unexpected ways. When this happens, we like to say, this is why we have meetings. Number 2, let's get it right even if it takes longer. Mark Zuckerberg famously has said that Facebook's motto is to move fast and break things. Now, there's no question that this has worked for him, but I'd like to make an appeal for the opposite. If you can get somewhere first or faster, there's no question that can be a huge advantage. But it should not be more important than getting it right the first time, even if it takes longer. Part of my job is to set the direction for our development team, and although I don't do any of the coding, I do understand what it takes to do it right. And we always put quality before speed, and because of that, I firmly believe that we have gone faster and have completed more by taking our time and versus going fast and breaking things. And finally, always do the right thing. One definition of integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. For us, this is one of our core values. Do right by our customers, do right by our employees. In our business, every month we deal with hundreds of dealership employees, thousands of dealership customers, thousands of advertisements, videos, websites, CRMs, plus tens of thousands of leads. You get the picture, a lot of stuff. Errors, issues, and mistakes are bound to pop up occasionally. Some may cost the company to lose face or money. And it may be easier or less expensive to avoid taking responsibility or to shift blame or dodge accountability. But for us, knowing that we have done the right thing and accepted responsibility at every opportunity makes us a stronger company. Integrity is one of our core guiding principles. No matter the consequence, we always do the right thing. Thank you.